from our online marketing. And now we're also live everywhere else. So, hey, everybody, it's Linda Lippin here from Linda Lippin Pilates, the Pilates Teacher Mastermind, Strong Women Over 50. And I'm here today with my friend, WendyAnn Hornak, and we are talking about navigating the unknown. Now, I think we all know that especially during these times when Pilates teachers have had to pivot their businesses like crazy, um, from studio to online, now sometimes back to studio, then back to online. Some people have just left altogether and are doing other things, right? Mm-hmm. But, we've spent basically a year and a half navigating the unknown.
We have.
We are going to be spending more time navigating the unknown because, as we know, things are just getting weirder, right? We have variants, there's resurgence. I have no idea what's coming up. Absolutely none. And as somebody who also, coaches Pilates teachers, I'm hearing this from my Pilates teacher clients, WendyAnn, we don't know what's going to happen. We're scared. We don't know what to do. We're making these shifts. We need more money. We need more time. We need all of these things. I'm also hearing from folks who have been working, because in Pilates, you can work corporate now, right?
Yes.
That's a thing now. You can be at Equinox or Club Pilates or, any of the major gyms. And so there's a lot of, corporate folks who are not getting the business and the hours they need in the corporate setting at the moment, and really are interested in pivoting, and again, are just scared.
Yes.
So everybody, you just kind of dropped off of Instagram. I don't know what's going on.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Can you come back?
Hold on. Let's see.
Is it your settings?
Here we go.
So everybody, just so y'all know, we're live, live. And
real live. Real live. Am I back now?
I'm going to re-invite you. How about that?
I'm like, I see you. How come you don't see me? It says, thanks for joining. Okay.
Okay. I re-invited you. Can anyone else see Wendy, or is it just me? Someone leave a comment. You joined, but you're not, you're watching, but you're not in the video.
It kicked me off the video.
It did?
It did.
Well, I re-invited you. Do you have another invitation?
I do now.
You do? Okay, great. So, for those of you who do not know this lady, WendyAnn Hornak helps her clients herald unprecedented growth by revolutionizing their business processes. She has worked with world-renowned leaders like Tony Robbins, Kelly Roach, love her, and Fraser Brooks, to name a few. Her knowledge and passion combined sets her apart from the crowd and lets her clients flourish beyond their expectations. She has had the privilege of helping numerous Fortune 500 clients streamline their operating standards to have a more positive business impact, not just on their margin, but also growth. WendyAnn has been around the business world for decades. Both of her parents were top contributors on Wall Street in New York City, which is about 6 blocks from my apartment. So we know. Her extensive knowledge combined with her passion to help others push past their obstacles is what drives her clients to continue to want more for themselves and their business growth. She is a firm believer that the best investment anyone can make is in themselves, which will allow them to have a massive impact on others. There's nothing bad about any of that. Okay. Oh. Absolutely nothing. And guys, you hear me talking about the advanced all the time. I'm talking about the advanced again, because guess what? WendyAnn is also in the advanced. So all of these awesome women who I've been interviewing, who are coming on to help serve you guys and teach you guys for free with me online, are the kind of women who you meet in the Advanced Expert Network. You could just go to FitLynda, spelled like my name, LYNDA.com/open house, and actually join us in the advance right now for free through the 14th. And if you join now and you want to come to my networking pod meeting, which I don't lead, by the way, but I do show up every 2 weeks, which is pod 3, join today, use that link, and come see me in the pod meeting. And that'll be fun.
Yeah, the advance is definitely a game changer for sure.
A game changer, seriously. I mean, we all have an elevator pitch now, because a clear elevator pitch of what we do because of the advance, like really. So WendyAnn, let's talk a little bit. When I first met you, you were kind of still in corporate, I think, and you were on the precipice of going.
Yeah. So so I started in, 23 years ago, and I still am in corporate, and there's a reason for that. So we started 24 years ago. Now I'm really aging myself, but we started 24 years ago when I was just out of the womb. And, I thought it was a great job that would look wonderful on my resume. And to be honest, it turned into so much more for me. And I wound up, scaling that ladder very quickly. I had a rapid growth and consistent change. And I think that it's one area that we all resist, whether we want to admit it or not, especially now. There's all this uncertainty. Nobody really knows how to handle it. Nobody's really quite sure. And I think that a lot of that change and a lot of that me having to restructure and rebuild and kind of reframe myself helped me to get to where I am today. And I stumbled into my own business by asking a client, or actually somebody who I had met through network marketing, for some help with bookkeeping, to be honest. And the more I worked with her, she's like, why are you not doing this on your own? So I am one of those very strange stories that still says, I absolutely love what I do in corporate America. I have a job that is not really a job. I can't explain it any other way. I work with clients all the time in corporate who are trying to escape that rigorous, 70, 80-hour work weeks, no appreciation, no real, there's a glass ceiling, there's all of these things. I will attest to the glass ceiling. I can feel that 100%. But one of the areas that I know that I relate to very well is with women, is them trying to balance that work and that life, the family at the same time. And that's really what got me involved and really entrenched in how can I help other families create their own economy, especially with all of the uncertainty that's happening now out in the world. We have people who are losing their jobs because of a lack of other people not showing up, or because things that are completely out of control. The things that we've seen in the last 2 years, nobody ever could have predicted, and not one person could ever be held responsible. It is a series of events. But the bottom line is we're all here now. You don't know what you're facing over the next 6 months. Nobody wants to look back on the last 6 months to see what happened. So how do you really pivot from that and be able to say, what do I do? There's so many different philosophies out there that say we want to have all of these streams of income. And, the most successful people, have multiple streams of income. How do I do that for me? And how do I protect my family? So our business very much evolved over the last 2 years and skyrocketed, thankfully, because we've been able to take all of our experience plus our client stories. I've worked with companies across the globe on very large scales, but the principles are still the same. And the findings and the processes, they're all the same. They just have to be tailored to you so that it's not taking you that 5, 10, 20-year mark to get to where you need to be. You want those numbers fast and you need them now. So we provide the roadmap as well as the accountability, because that was one of the things, and I think we talked about this before, that I've always found is lacking. We are not a course. We are not a course. I've purchased many courses over time, right? And they sit on a shelf, and that's great. They look wonderful, and I can always go back to them. But what happens when I have questions? There's nobody there to answer.
Exactly.
stuck and I don't know what to do. And I will say just one last plug. I'm sure you talk about this a lot. But I just want to throw this out there. The Advanced is also an amazing place to go to say, post in the group, like, I'm thinking of doing this. I'm thinking of changing, because there are so many people out there who are so stuck on what they've done for so long, and they're not seeing that extra growth because they're comfortable and they know where they are, and everything else around them is uncomfortable. So how do you push somebody to say, I get it's all uncomfortable out here. I know you're happy, but you want more. So you got to get uncomfortable everywhere in your life. It's a big leap. So finding that person who can relate to you, who's been there, who's built the business from the ground up, who's worked the hours, who's worked on themselves, and I always say, if you're going to work with somebody, vet them, ask them questions. If you come to Linda and you're like, listen, I'm having some back pain, and you start to ask her questions, she should not be offended by the questions you're asking her about her background. You should feel empowered, right? Like, you should feel empowered to say, how long have you been doing this? Have you had results? You should be vetting the person you're working with just as they should, as you should be vetting them. It should be a two-way street, because that's why you want to create your own economy, so that you can create your own idea of what this business looks like. That's yours. That's your core value. So I think that it's real important that people understand that there is a time to pivot. There is a time for you to, lock arms with somebody. And the Advanced has been amazing for me in my business, because I've been able to bounce ideas off of people who I would have never met. And you're not far from me. We're right in Pennsylvania. I always tell my daughter, I'm like, oh, wait till one day you meet Linda. She sits right next to the bridge that you were named after. So,
right. But I mean, seriously, a little while ago, I interviewed my friend Sadiq, right, who used to be a trainer at the Dog Pound and is now working on Davigate.com, right, which is a site that is there to help. Hi, Chef. Awesome. Nice of you to join us. But it's to help new immigrants to the U.S. navigate through the visa process, right, which is a huge thing. But once again, he was like, you need to be able to make that leap. You need to be able to make that jump. And it's important to be in the room with the right people. With the right people. And I know, especially for Pilates teachers, a lot of times we're like, but we can't find that room, or we can't find that space. And I've said it often that the Advanced is actually the first business networking group I've been in where, there's other fitness professionals, right? There usually aren't. And so it's a different discussion, right? And also where I've kind of been formed and taught to talk about myself and my business very quickly, very clearly, very concisely, and never kind of taught in a bad way.
Yeah, no.
Or shamed into anything, but just positively reinforced to do the work and get the work done and be more professional. And if you look at the list of most of my live streams over the past bunch of months, most of these women who are coming in from outside of the Pilates world to teach us are from the Advanced and are women I've connected with there. Now, WendyAnn, a lot of Pilates teachers are struggling with having families. I have a lot of single mothers who I'm connected to and listen.
Yeah.
And they are now struggling with their time management. A lot of them are homeschooling as well. And they're trying to kind of handle the kids, handle new relationships, possibly reopen brick and mortar or open new brick and mortar Pilates studios and maintain their online businesses, which just makes me tired saying it.
A lot.
And, yes. And I know you specifically coach women around being able to be with their families, maintain a solid, healthy family life, along with a solid, healthy business life, because you, my friends, have been through this yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I have an amazing supportive husband, but I also have two beautiful children. And now we have two beautiful, amazing puppies. So, as if it couldn't get chaotic enough, when I hear people saying I'm too busy, I'm like, I hear you, but let's talk about how busy you really are. So, I have a full-time corporate job and I have this, and this is a business that we scaled very quickly from, $0 in revenue to six figures in 7 months. So, and that was last year. So we've been a little busy. So I understand the friction, and I never want anybody to feel as if they see these people and they're exhausted and they hate what they do. And I think, oh my gosh, that is not the way to live. The whole reason people jump into entrepreneurship or wanting to do something on their own is to help other people and have this amazing life and travel more and have more money in their bank account, have more money I have these two children. They're pretty smart. They're going to want to go to school. So how am I going to pay for that? So that's where a lot of my efforts came from. But to be honest, a lot of my business is about serving, and it has a lot to do with how do I have all of the things and not miss all of the moments? Because as a mom, especially a single mom, you literally feel like you're burning at both ends. And it's a flame that never goes out. So how do you find the time? And I hear the word all the time. All you have to do is get it in the calendar. And then I have some clients, and it's true, I put it in calendar every single day. Does that calendar always work out? No. So here's the difference. We talk about setting a standard, not time mapping. Like, time blocking is great. It's wonderful. But its buzzword has kind of faded out with a lot of my group. And I'll be honest, myself as well. If I say I'm going to do something at 8:00, it has to happen. And when it doesn't, it devastates me and it sets me back for the whole day. So I understood this, and I thought, well, what a creative way to be able to come up with something a little bit different, but to still get all the things done. So the very first thing that we do, besides going through your clarity, making sure that, your core values, what makes you happy, don't decide. Like, if I decided tomorrow, oh my gosh, Linda's making all this money, she's crazy busy, look at all their success, I'm going to go and I'm going to be a Pilates coach. I don't even like to teach people how to do Pilates. So why would I do that, right? So she loves this. So this is why she does what she does. I love doing what I do. So there's a lot of people who are like, I want to start this business. And I'm like, okay, so what drew you to that? Well, I see so many people successful. Do you like that? No. Then don't do that. So, and as simple as that sounds, I'm finding more and more people who are reinventing themselves because they're getting back to their why. They're not doing business with people who they don't have their core beliefs. They don't follow that. So everything starts to feel good. Like, you're supposed to wake up and hit the ground and feel good about what you're doing.
Right. And you're supposed to like your clients. You're supposed to enjoy working with them. WendyAnn, a big issue, and I talk about this a lot, but a big issue within the Pilates world is that we're talking generations of teachers who basically came out of training believing that they would never actually, or shouldn't ever actually, make a good living or a lot of money teaching Pilates. And the amount of vitriol that I've seen online against the Pilates teachers who are doing well. And we're talking going back to the late and lovely Mari Windsor.
Mm-hmm.
Where everyone was like, oh, like, how dare she go to QVC and make all this money selling Windsor Pilates online?
Right.
I could do that. Well, you didn't.
Correct.
And you know how she did it? Because she pitched. She had good clients in LA who were connected, and she pitched and she did it. But QVC, it's not like a place that you walk into and you get like multiple chances to sell your stuff.
No.
QVC, you get one shot. Mm-hmm. And if you can't move to, it's like 2,000 items, I think, 2,000 sales in that one shot, which is usually about 10 or 20 minutes, you're done and you ain't coming back. Okay. So there's like a lot on the line when you get into these relationships. And that's why so many of us don't do it. I think, WendyAnn, that I'm going to be featured in Arianna Huffington's Thrive Global and Authority magazine. And I pitched that. And the whole time I was thinking, why am I doing this? Like
I
little old
shouldn't be
me.
doing it. I shouldn't be doing this. I
I
shouldn't.
shouldn't be doing this. They're going to pick me.
Right.
Like, and the articles they're sharing, the interviews are like Peyton Manning and Sheryl Sandberg. And I'm like, and Linda? And Linda. It's a fact because that's happening. And, I realize that a lot of it is about, believing that we can do it and putting ourselves out there. And so many Pilates teachers came through their training truly believing that they couldn't. And then they go to work at studios where the studio owners basically reinforce that they can't. Bye, Keith. Thanks for joining us. Reinforce that and are literally like, this is side money or this is, whatever. And then, people like me come out and we're like, no, 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 no. You don't understand. Like people want to feel and function better. This is of great value to them. And they are happy to pay a lot of money for it. And, you could do that and still have great clients and a great life.
Yes. Yes.
It's, what kind of little, are there any mindset things that we could really work on as teachers that have come through basically a system that has told us that in our profession that we spent like at least 5 to 10 figures training for, that we'll be lucky to make that back in a few years, let alone a few months. How can we start to shift that in our own headspace so that we can make ourselves open and take those leaps for those higher ticket opportunities?
So I would start off by saying that the very first thing that you just have to check your own house, right? And I think that you've set a very good expectation for people to be able to show. You need to provide value. You need to bring something to the table consistently. You need to be willing to show people who you are and what you're about. Once you've done that and you're authentic, then it comes time for you to start understanding and believing yourself. Your clients already bought into this. Now you need to believe it. And here's the thing. Nobody wakes up the next day confident. It doesn't happen that way. If you are consistent and you are confident, you're going to go the whole mile and you can do whatever you want. It really all is in your mind. Like they say these things and I hear people like, that's all woohoo. Well, woohoo got me here. So I'll work with that, right? It really does have to start with, and I had actually just asked this question to a mentor of mine a couple of months ago because I said I had somebody who was struggling. They didn't like the affirmation idea. Like start with affirmations. Every day you should be saying something. Before you're going live, you should be doing something to bring yourself in. You should be the energy that you want people to see, feel, and know. And it should be true to you. Don't fake it till you make it. There's no science behind that. And honestly, it doesn't feel good. Don't try to portray yourself as something that you're not. If somebody else is doing something and they say, well, mirror what they're doing, that doesn't mean to show up like them, right? It means mirror what they're doing from a consistency standpoint, but bring your own authentic value to it. And it does have a lot to do with sitting down and journaling. What are your goals? What do you want to get done? And the more momentum you start to get, and the more you see, and it could be small. I'm going to get a new client this week. I'm going to get a new client this day. I'm going to reach out to 10 more people. Whatever it is, as you start checking off the boxes, that momentum starts to happen. The reality is, in the world, most people aren't willing to do the very simple things to get them to that propel mark. Once you have the momentum, then you start to see to yourself, oh my God, I just had a client a couple of months ago who was like, Wendy, what do I do with all these clients? I'm like, I don't know. You're going to have to go service them. They love you. Like, what a horrible problem to have. You need to believe that you're going to bring them value. So I do believe that affirmations have a lot to do with it. And you really need to sit with yourself and figure, what is it? Is it a matter of I feel like I'm not worthy? Or is it because that's what I've been told? And the second that you can break those, the second that you can change your mindset from an abundance mindset to I'm totally worth this, not cocky, this is confident. There is a difference. There is a big difference, right? And I'm constantly telling, you mentioned Tony, I prime almost every day. And everyone's like, why do you do that? And I said, because my energy level is typically at 98 and most people are probably at 60 and it grounds me. So instead of me coming on and being so high energy that people are like, whoa, she is on fire. What are we going to do? I bring myself always to center to remember this is what's important and this is what I have to focus on. Otherwise, just like every other entrepreneur, there's all the shiny things and you want to do all the amazing stuff instead of doing the simple things that are going to make you money. So back to your question, it really does have a lot to do with, do you have small anchors that you can remind yourself? Putting a sticky note on the refrigerator that says, I am worth $1 million. I'm going to bring in $5 million next year, $500. The honest number is some people are like, whoa, $1 million, that's way too much. Maybe you're not there yet. And maybe you are just thinking real small right now. Like, I just need to pay the rent. I just need an extra $1,000 a month. And my gosh, I would be so happy. I challenge you to set your goal to 3 to 5. And I challenge you to every day work towards that and just keep chipping away. And the one secret that somebody had shared with me, and I thought this was gold. What passwords are you using? They're called anchors. You can change it to, people love to pay me. People love to pay me money. I'm worth $1 million. It sounds corny, but you know what happens? There's a little thing in your brain that actually hears it and starts to believe you. And then you have the belief that you've been desiring. And I mean, I just gave you like the 5-minute spiel of like a 3-hour deal that we go through, but that's really, you need to make very simple changes. Don't try to take on so much. Like you're going to wake up tomorrow and you're going to hit that $1 million mark when you're at zero. That's not realistic. I love big goals. I'm all about it. But you have to get your mind in the right frame to be able to understand that what you bring to the table, the world needs. The world needs caring people who are willing to help others in this sector. So what are you doing that's different? What are you doing to serve others? And then what are you doing all by yourself when all the lights are out to tell yourself that you deserve this and so much more?
That's really the important thing. You know, at my price point and level of teaching Pilates, people like to test me, especially in the first session. They always have. They do it in the studio. They do it online. Other Pilates teachers do it to me. I don't care. It's fine. Because frankly, I would do the same. I do the same thing. Not I would do the same thing. I do exactly the same thing. And I have one particular client who's been with me for probably going on a year now. And in her first session after, she sent me this, 1,000-word email about the shifts that she had found during her session and was like, you're totally worth the money.
I
was like, but I know that.
Right.
And it was just really kind of funny because she really went into it like, is Linda really worth this? And then she was like, well, you are. Now, for anyone watching this, if you think that I walk around every day thinking that I just am, you're wrong. It's the same thing I've been saying about kind of pitching for the Thrive Global, right? I was like, who, me? I shouldn't do that, right? Can I be in that room?
Yep.
Is that door open for somebody like me?
Yep.
I don't know. Apparently it is. So, more Pilates teachers should go to do that because our stories are valuable as well.
But I think that's the shift, right? So you grabbed that and thought, I don't belong in this room. I'm not quite sure about this, but I'm going to try. So
exactly.
Were you at 100% of, I'm totally going to rock this. I'm going to go in there. I'm going to pitch this. I'm going to win it. No, but here's both sides of that story. Something in your mind knew you should do this.
Right.
And it kept reinforcing you. That constant reinforcement, they say that your whole standards and what you believe is done by the time you're 3 years old. And by the time you're 6, it's stuck in your brain. And things that happen in your childhood will come back to you in your adulthood. You have a choice. You can live with that and you can continue to harp on that, or you can change it. And all you have to do is start telling yourself a different story. That's it.
That's literally what it is. It's just telling yourself a different story. And it sounds simple and it sounds corny, and I say it all the time and you say it all the time and all of our coaches who we work with say it all the time, but it's simply a fact. And it doesn't mean that the old stories aren't still there. right? I talk about the fact all the time that anytime you up level, every time, in fact, you up level, you can just expect that all that shit's going to come because it is.
Yes, each time. And here's the thing, you're always going to see a setback. So just as you're about to come over, something is going to come tumbling at you and you're going to take it as it's knocking me down 6 pegs and I need to stay here. Or, all right, so there's a little roadblock. How do we get around it? You have to, how do we get around it? Because that's typically right at the point when you're about to go to that next level.
Right. And this is the important work. It's like, if I see one more ad online from some like 20-year-old kid from the UK who's selling some, health and fitness app that, no health and fitness business online can make money without, but still no one's working on their mission and their niche and their ICA and their core values. And this is every Pilates Profit Lab workshop that I teach. I start with that. And everyone's like, why are we doing this?
Right.
I hate this. I don't like doing this.
Yep.
But like I was with a client earlier this afternoon and we were having the same discussion about her business. She wants to kind of niche into more of actually kind of cheeky Pilates apparel for Pilates teachers.
Love
with
it.
Like the sayings of cues that we all say 4,000 times in the studio.
Yep. Love it.
Please stop talking.
Love it. I love
just because breathing is good, these things that are really basic and simple. Pull your abs in and up, whatever.
No words, just breathe. That's
just breathe, right? But we were talking about the fact that up until now, she's been kind of marketing to everybody, and so it's not selling well. Mm-hmm. And I was like, honey, you like I love this idea. If I was teaching in a studio, and frankly, even teaching online, I would love to have a cheeky T-shirt that I could talk about the common cue.
Yes.
That they could just look at me and maybe I don't have to say it as often in a session. And I was like, you need just niche that down. And I think tons of people are going to buy these because they're awesome.
Well,
but they're not awesome for the general public who look at them and are like, we have no idea what that means.
Right. But here's what I will say to that, because I'm the extremist, right? So I'm the one I've already thought out her whole plan in my head and how it's going to market and then what she's going to do for me. And here's what I will say. As you think of doing a change like that, and you're really not quite sure, and you do it, and it doesn't take off right away, but it will. And then when it does, what happens is people are having a conversation, right? Because you're so busy targeting your audience and not stop thinking wide, think deep. Like I've heard that so many times and it never clicked with me until about 3 months ago when I finally realized, because I had another client who was doing the same thing. And I'm like, stop, I know that you work with men and women and this and that. I do too. But my whole surrounding is we help families create their own economy. That is what I do. So a lot of mine start out as moms. Some are dads. Some are, you wind up talking. So Linda's talking about something right now. And I'm like, I love the apparel idea. So when she comes out with something, and I know another Pilates teacher, because I will, this all goes back to the advance and it all goes back to networking. Right. Your best standoff is referral marketing, because you're going to do something and Linda's going to love it. And she's going to tell all of us about it. Right. And we're all going to do it too. And all of a sudden you don't know what to do with yourself, because now you have all these people who love what you do and they start telling their people. So you think it's so small, but all it takes are a couple of really happy people who you've connected with to talk about amazing things like right now, right? Like this, right. This works, and she's going to do amazing. I'm so excited for her. Just let her.
And they don't even need, the thing is they don't even need to be like in your niche. Like that's the kind of interesting thing. So pretty much like all of the women in my pod and most of the women in the advance are pretty clear on what I do, who I serve, and how I serve. And I now get all these referrals because one of WendyAnn's clients starts complaining about her back pain or how she just had a, bad DEXA scan and now has osteoporosis. And the first person WendyAnn thinks of is me.
Yep.
Someone gets in touch with me and they're like, family, pivot, I don't know what to do. I'm sending them to her.
Right.
And that's how that works. Like we may not be in the same niche, we may not be in the same business, but we're in complementary businesses.
Yeah.
And then there are other fitness professionals. Again, not quite, like Natalie and I serve our clientele overlap.
They do. Yep.
In a very real way, but we serve them in different ways. We teach totally different things, and then we support each other and we cross refer. So, I also think it's important, and I think you can speak a little bit about this as well to reinforce the fact that competition is good, because if you don't have competition in the field, then no one's making money doing it, so you probably won't either. There's just that. But secondly, being able to network and collaborate with your competition is even better because it strengthens everyone's business. It grows everybody's audience, and we don't all serve the same niche. So I love the fact that I have a list of Pilates teachers in my Profit Lab and my mastermind. When I get clients coming to me that aren't in my niche, I farm them out to other teachers.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, right.
And then you know where to go. So, I'm not going to sit here and say that every single person I've ever met is a power partner of mine. That's not the case. But what I love to have is, and it's on my wall, there are people who I have met, whether it's in the advanced or even some of my clients, quite frankly, who I know are amazing at X. When somebody says something to me, I immediately am like, oh my gosh, do you know, you need to talk to Sue. Sue does XYZ. I'm going to connect you right now. I'm sending a DM, I'm copying you on it, or I'm sending an email, I'm doing whatever, because this is the person that's going to get you over the finish line. And the difference is, and I want nothing from that. I just do it because I know it's going to put somebody in a better place. And that's what it's all about. And I hear people all the time, not everyone's like that. I agree. But what do you have to lose? Nothing to lose. So you can stay in that mindset of everybody's out for themselves, or you can come and you can join the table that says, we're all in it for each other because we all want to be successful and we all want to see each other explode in our businesses and serve so many people. Now more than ever, people need the extension of the hand, not asking for things, not taking for things, but serving for things. And I see it more and more. You had made the reference of the younger gentleman from the other, and I hear this all the time. Like I get pitches. People laugh. They're like, these are insane. I'm like, they are, but I'm going to be honest. I shift through a lot of that to talk to you, and I can't because I have all these pitches from people who have just come at me. Hey, I saw you on this. Hey, I saw you on this podcast. Hey, I saw you here. I'd love to connect. I have this amazing group. We don't even know each other. We don't even know each other. We don't even know.
Could we have a coffee? Could we have coffee? Maybe before you ask me out, right?
Something like, I don't. It's been a long time since I've been in the dating world, but if that's how it is, good luck because.
Me neither. It's been like 30 years.
No, but I'm the same way with relationships. Like I have clients that I've helped 20 years ago that I still talk to this day.
Oh, me too.
And
totally.
That's just, it's called relationship building. So, back to what you were saying, I think that this is a space where things are very unknown. So you have a choice. You could stay in your comfort zone, which isn't very comfortable when you really sit and think about it. You're sitting in a situation where you don't know what's going to happen from day to day. You're sitting in a situation where it's the first time in your lifetime that you don't know what's going to happen. But what I can tell you is this. What will not happen is you will not run out of that drive and desire. And 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 years from now, when the end comes, the only thing you don't want to have is regret. And I know Tony talks about this a lot. I've had other mentors talk about this a lot. Spend time in a nursing home, interview anybody. And the very first thing they say is, I wish I would have X. I wish I would have. Don't be the wish I would have. Just try it. And I will tell you this, if you're thinking of doing something or you're having a problem with something, connect with people, ask questions, find the right support, find somebody to lock arms with. You need to find somebody that fits you, that can take you to the extra mile. Like our program is a 12-month program and it's designed that way for a reason. And many people say to me like, oh my gosh, one of your mentors is Kelly Roach. She is, because she's amazing at what she does. Mm-hmm. And I find a lot of things that have come from her that I bring to my clients, right? So, and I find a lot of things
she encourages us to do. So that's the thing. Like, I love Kelly, right? Um, and I use in my 1 year in my Pilates teacher mastermind program for teachers. I also use,
Yeah.
because Kelly's one of my coaches as well. Use tons of her stuff. I mean, and that's, another thing I want to tell you guys is every single higher level coach has other coaches,
I hope.
right? We all have coaches. We
Can
are
I?
all being coached.
Like, I hope they do. And if they don't, if you have aligned yourself with someone and they have not, and they can't tell you what they're doing, and they don't have to give you names necessarily, but if you find you're connected with somebody, you'll feel it. You'll feel that they're not investing, because it takes work every day to come into life and be happy every day and willing to serve and wanting more and wanting to do next. Some more than others. Some need XYZ, some need this, some need just a little bit of this. It's all different for every person. But if you have aligned yourself with someone who is not in any type of mentorship program, that is something for you to definitely take a look at, because here you are willing to invest in them. I hope they're bringing you value from all of the investment that they have from themselves. I mean, somebody asked me the other day, how much money have you invested in personal development? And I said, I'm sure it's very close to $1 million. And I won't stop.
Mm-hmm.
There's no reason for me not to, right? And do I
because there is a very clear return on investment. The ROI for doing that kind of work is huge.
Yes.
And I didn't realize it, actually. And I mean, I realized it a little bit. I had done, some coaching, some programs, stuff that didn't quite work. I was ready to do the work and make the leap, did my year reviewee, realized at the end of that year that now I know the stuff I have to do.
Yep.
Dealing with a lot of the mindset stuff just popped right up as I'm up leveling.
Yes.
And, so now I'm working with Kelly Ruda.
I love that. I love that.
Because I knew that that's what I needed now.
Yeah. And I think
right?
that's exactly where your path should take you.
Exactly. And something else is going to come up over this year, and I'm going to finish my year with Kelly, and I'm going to be like, all right, now Linda needs this.
Yes.
Now I need to focus on this, and I'm going to find the coach that focuses on that. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to go with them for a year. But and that's literally what we do.
Yeah. And what you hit on is so spot on, where I knew I needed more. I didn't know what I needed. And I dabbled in several things. I spent lots of money on courses and things and stuff. And then I realized what I didn't like. And I just built what I thought I needed and what I thought would support more people. And it just grew. And these are the things that differentiate you in the market, right? These are the things. It's not necessarily, you don't have to come up with some amazing idea. Just do something that you love and do it your way. And don't think, if you're on the fence and you're like, I know I can do more, I'm not quite sure if I'm ready for that. The only question I ever ask is, how do you feel about where you are today? How do you feel? You feel like you're ready for the next level? Then you have to do something different. Find it may not be me. It may not be Linda. Just find something where you think that's going to get you to that next level. Because if you don't, you're just wasting time at this point. Time that you could be getting the guidance and the roadmap and the advice and the accountability to get you to that next level.
Yeah, and that's what gets you there faster. I always remind Pilates teachers that the reason why people pay us for, frankly, something they could learn for free. Okay. Right. Let's just be real about this. I mean, even if you don't want to spend the money on buying a Pilates book or a Pilates video, there is so much free stuff on YouTube. You can go to the library and check out all the free books, even the ebooks.
But
there's
plenty of it.
Websites and whatever, but basically people don't want to have to do that.
No.
And I know for my clients, they're really interested because they're injured and they're hurting and they want to be as functional as humanly possible for as long as possible. They want someone who's looking at their alignments, who knows how to modify and work around their issues, and that they can be with long term. And they are, frankly, happy to pay for that. So because remember, guys, that it's not just general. It's not just like, oh, people want to pay for, fitness and Pilates. No. They really can do it for free. Mm-hmm. So the only reason why personal training of any form exists is because there are people who find huge value in saving their own time and not having to learn to do it themselves
Yeah.
and to just show up with a teacher who guides them through their stuff. They get it done. They save a lot of money. They save time, frustration, and, injury and pain. And they're happy to pay a lot for that.
Yes.
Period.
Yes.
Sometimes I've had Pilates teachers be like, but are people like really, really need us and we're necessary? And I'm like, we're not necessary. We are not necessary. If people lose their money, personal training is going to be the first thing to go. I can guarantee it. Because you're going to feed your family and pay rent before you pay for your personal trainer. Right? So let's just know that it's of value to a specific person in specific situations for a specific reason. We need to talk to those people. We need to market to those people. My clients are awesome because for most of them, they're set. Like varying in the market and in the economy doesn't affect them.
Right.
They're like, whatever, we're fine. Yeah. They might lose net worth money, but they're not losing their day-to-day expense money at all.
Yeah, I think that just some of what you have touched on, I feel like people just need to understand that there is value in what people bring to the table. And I think what you said earlier, so I'll agree to disagree with you here. You can get it for free, but you're not going to do anything with it. And you're not going to see results. I mean, I love exercise so much that until I invested in somebody who's going to force me to do it, and I mean force, it didn't really become something because I had every other excuse not to do it. It's the same in business. You'll find every other excuse. The children have too busy of a schedule. My husband works nice. I don't have the extra time. But you're watching The Real Housewives and you're paying attention to the news. So there are things that we could do to change. I'm not going to say it's not easy, but it's you evolve yourself into the person that you see that you want to be. And that's where it comes into finding the value versus the money. So, I have people who are like, I can't. Okay, maybe not now, but maybe you will later because what you're doing today isn't working for you. And that's really the big difference is where do you want to go next? What have you done already? And how do you feel about that? And if you're at the stage where you're like, nope, I'm ready. I see it. I need to work on my mindset. I need some strategy. That's where we have a conversation. Otherwise, amazing training. I talk about all sorts of stuff. You could take what I have. If you have the wherewithal to put yourself in a drive every day, take it and run with it. But if you're looking for that accountability, if you're looking for that partnership, if you're looking to mingle with others and hang out in a different room, because I'll tell you, I know it's getting late, but I will say one last thing and then I promise I'll be quiet. The people you're hanging around have a lot to do with what's happening in your life. And you may not want to hear that, but it took me a very long time and a lot of heartache and hurt to see it now. There are people in your life today that don't belong there. And there are people who you've surrounded yourself with. And I would never tell somebody to walk out of a relationship you need to do what's right for you. I started in the industry in network marketing with clean products. And, I went through a huge scare with skin cancer and things became important to me. But I didn't realize that the toxins that I'm putting on top of my skin have something to do with it. But it's also what I'm around because that's going to change your mindset a lot. So there's big change. I'm not going to tell you it's not uncomfortable to grow. It's so worth it. But we have some pretty uncomfortable conversations with my clients. Sometimes they don't always love me as much as they do the next day.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Because, you also need people to tell you the truth and tell it like it is. And that's, again, where the accountability piece of it comes in.
Yeah.
Basically, there's just so much kind of crap out there that, yes, can you find, WendyAnn stuff on YouTube and her free stuff? You can. Can you find my stuff here on Instagram Live and everywhere else? You can. And there's lots of us, Kelly Roach's stuff. Lots of great stuff. But to try to cobble it together without any real kind of deep sense of what you need to do first, what you need to do second, what's really important, is ridiculously hard. And that's what I did for years and kind of cobbled it together. And it was really like at the beginning of COVID where I was like, as my mother used to say, shit or get off the pot. And that's when I realized I had to take this online business thing seriously, take what I was doing here seriously, and make it so that I wouldn't have to go back into a studio just in case that ever, never happened again.
Well,
and now I just don't want to because I don't have to.
You don't have to. But that's huge, right? So that's a point that a lot of people took, right? And let's be honest, there are people in the world who shut down their studios and never look back. And now they have no income. They don't know where to go next, and they don't know what to do. And
you're getting the real estate licenses. That's what I'm hearing.
Oh,
getting a lot of financial advisors and real estate people.
So, and that's, I mean, if that's the pivot and that's truly what your core wanted to do from the beginning,
right. Awesome.
Right. But if it's not, there's so many other ways to pivot your business. So,
right. Because otherwise you're just going to be kind of sad all the time because you miss serving people in this particular way that we do as Pilates teachers. It is a very specific thing that we do for people, and it's important. It's important to me to have those kind of relationships with people and help them feel better and help them do better and really have, when my clients are like, my bone density is better and my rheumatologist is super happy and I told him, what we were doing. Or the funny thing is when they get their osteoporosis organization newsletters and they're like, so that exercise that you make me do that I hate, that was in the best exercises for osteoporosis article in this month's newsletter for the organization. And I'm always like, yeah. Maybe I know what I'm doing. I don't know. Who knows?
Right. But there's
but I'd like to think so.
Here it was there for you and you didn't do anything with it until I told you.
Exactly. So they've been getting those newsletters for years. Yeah, that's the best exercise. But when Linda makes me do it, I do it. And guess what? My bone density is better. So here,
right.
There we are.
Right.
So WendyAnn, it was so awesome to talk to you. And guys, I would replay this. This is going to be in the Facebook groups. It's going to be on my Facebook page. I'm going to add this to IGTV. It's going to be on WendyAnn's feeds as well. I'm going to share the videos with her. But so many gold nuggets in this. Seriously. So much goodness, especially for you guys who are really trying to create your own economy for your family and your loved ones. And really, I have to tell you, WendyAnn, it's only in the last year that I've even heard those phrases or thought about legacy, thought about creating an economy, thought about stewarding of money, stewarding of my money, and how meaningful stewarding of my business in an appropriate way so that it can be moved forward. And either bought or passed on or whatever I decide to do with it. But, we'll think about that when that time comes. But these are not, I didn't grow up like that. I grew up with poor working class parents. No one talked about that. The big thing was, Linda, if you want to be rich, marry somebody who's rich.
Yep.
Right.
Yep. And I've heard that before. And the only thing that I will say in my closing remarks, I think I already said that before, but one more.
It's fine because I do that all the time.
I know. Is that you see the joy that Linda gets when she's talking. And that is one of the things that I always talk about with clients is be careful what you wish for, right? You want to talk about the millions and the legacies and that be careful what you wish for, but make sure that whatever you're doing is true to your core. Because the big warning I have is if you do something that you are not happy with doing and it does not bring you joy to see other people happy in what you're bringing them, you will wind up rich and miserable. And I don't know what's worse, being poor and miserable or rich and miserable. And everyone's like, oh, rich and miserable is so much better. I don't know, because you can be rich financially and emotionally in doing exactly what you love. So just focus on that. Find what you love.
Right.
Focus on that. Don't jump on the most recent trains, please. That's my
ending. And it's, what my coach Kelly now, always says consistently is it's not that money buys happiness, because it doesn't. It absolutely does not. However, what it does do is helps you pay off your bills,
Yep.
helps you pay off your credit cards, and can buy you experiences that you may not have been able to have without it. And those experiences can indeed make you happier. Let you know
Yes.
they can.
Yes.
So there is a relationship. It is not a direct relationship. There's plenty of miserable people out there who have a lot of money. Right.
Yeah.
And I've been on the service side of that. I mean, I worked at Parrot Key. I know I've been there. But the majority of the people who I got to hang out with in the Pilates studio and the spa there were super happy.
Yeah.
Were really happy with what they were doing and with who they were. And those are some of the women I still work with here in New York 10 years later and online, because, you know, who doesn't want to be around that?
Right. Absolutely.
Exactly. And you want to be that, because that's what's going to attract clients. It's going to, you know, attract more people into your circle that are just going to continue to help you move forward and help you through the tough spots, because they will be there. That will happen.
Absolutely. Well, thank you again for having me.
Yes, WendyAnn, tell us how people can get in touch with you if they want to talk to you or work with you further.
Yeah. So I think the best way is we are actually having a 5-day free workshop, completely free. It's 5 days. You can go to our website, www.farfrombasic.com, and you can register, save your seat right there, and we'll get you situated. It kicks off on the 16th of August. So you could check it all out. You could take all the golden nuggets and run with it. And we're going to have a really good time. So we've got a lot of amazing things planned for that time frame. So super excited. And if you mention that you came from Linda, we will make sure to throw in a very special incentive gift just for you.
You hear that, guys? Register, mention that Linda referred you, and you will get an extra gift just from having watched this video.
Absolutely. So thank you again, guys. I really appreciate it. Linda,
thank you.
To connect with you.
You too, WendyAnn. Just hang out for a second after we finish.
Sure. Bye, guys.
Bye, everybody. So, everybody, that was WendyAnn. Tons of gold nuggets here. You're going to see me live actually next week or the week after. I'm with Tila. We are going to be talking part 3 of our Tila Talks conversations about Pilates teachers owning their worth, because there is so much to say about this that, you know, we are going into the 3rd hour of that presentation. So I will see you guys soon. Always keep an eye on all of my social media feeds, wherever you are, for the live streams, and I will talk to everybody soon. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Okay.